An Arkansas, new Arkansas law that was just put into effect could mean you pay more the next time you need to replace your tires. 5 News reporter Taylor Howard explains why some tire shops have to raise their prices.
You absolutely need a good set of tires to get you where you're going safely. But the next time you buy a new set, you may notice your bill is a little higher. When you replace your old tires, the old ones have to be hauled away and recycled. An Arkansas law changed July 1st, impacting how the state's used tire recycling program is paid for. One Springdale tire shop says it's now costing more to get rid of old tires.
We can't absorb that cost. You know, we have to pass it along like everything else is in this time.
Rod Scott manages Pro Tires in Springdale. He says his shop got this information sheet before the law took effect. It says tire dealers may face additional costs and can charge an additional fee to help cover them. The Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality says the old $3 fee shops paid when replacing tires was no longer enough to cover the cost of hauling away and recycling used tires. Under the new law, some of those costs can be passed on to tire shops. Scott says that's why customers are seeing higher prices.
And we're not profiting from it. We're just a mouse trying to get out of the trap, you know.
At Pro Tires, Scott says a set of 4 new tires now costs about $12 more, and that he understands why customers may be frustrated.
Customers are getting squeezed every way they turn around. Every time they enter a door, they're getting squeezed somehow. And you know, I think for the most part, people are getting tired of it.
I reached out to the state senator leading the change to ask why they were needed, but we did not hear a response before our deadline. In Springdale, covering news where you live, Taylor Howard, 5 News.
The Department of Environmental Quality says not every tire shop will handle the added cost the same way, so whether you pay more could depend on where you buy your next set of tires. We told you last night Rogers is working on extending the city's 1-cent sales tax that's set to expire this year. Found out today the majority of the bond package would fund road maintenance. The proposed $50 million worth of work would include fixing potholes, resurfacing streets, and completely rebuilding some roads in the worst condition. City is also looking to make it easier to get from the highway to the downtown area.
Another big chunk of what we're looking at for infrastructure is our roads most of them are about my age. And what I'm finding is that I require more and more maintenance, and so do our roads. And so we've got some deferred maintenance that we need to take care of as a city.
The community development director says about $10 million could go toward repairing the back streets roads. Arkansas Department of Health has updated the number of cases now of cyclospora in the state to 35 tonight. The AP says the record intestinal parasite outbreak nationwide could be from multiple sources. Federal health officials, though, have linked lettuce from California and Mexico farms to the outbreak. Lettuce was also served at Taco Bell locations in 5 states. Arkansas was not one of them. The ADH says you should wash all produce thoroughly before consuming and washing your hands before and after. New tonight at 10, the Arkansas Supreme Court has sided with Attorney General Tim Griffin, allowing a settlement to move forward regarding control over state prisons. Griffin offered 2 settlements to resolve disputes with the Board of Corrections in March. On Thursday, the Arkansas Supreme Court allowed one of those settlements to stand. It requires the board to agree that a current and former board member violated FOI laws in 2023 when they discussed hiring a lawyer to sue the governor. We've also learned tonight Fort Smith-based ArcBest has announced it is cutting 2% of its workforce. That includes 60 jobs in the Fort Smith area. ArcBest says it is consolidating service centers, eliminating certain job openings, and combining brands together to save more than $40 million a year. An SEC filing says 10 service centers will close in smaller markets. Well, the day after the president's primetime speech on election integrity last night, the White House says it is taking action ahead of the midterms. Carissa Lawson reports it comes as the president again touched on election security tonight.
At a FIFA reception at Trump Tower Friday, President Trump again repeated false claims about the 2020 election.
I was supposed to not be here right now. I was supposed to be president for 8 years. The polls showed it, everyone showed it. They rigged the election, and what did I get? I got the World Cup, I got the Olympics.
Earlier, Trump administration officials vowed to root out widespread election tampering that critics say does not exist. Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullin has a message for state and local election officials.
Once we gave them the information they need to secure their elections, and they chose not to, then those individuals can also be held accountable by fines, by penalties, and even, depending on how far it goes, prison time.
Mullen also echoed the president's belief that voting machines are highly susceptible to outside interference.
Foreign adversaries have parts that are vital pieces in our voting machines. We know that they can change voter registration and your vote.
Election experts dismiss the administration's concerns.
Those machines are kept under strict chain of custody, lock and key. They're tested.
And Democratic leaders insist American elections are secure.
I think at the end of the day, what they really have is a bunch of conspiracy theories.
Critics note the Trump administration cut about a third of personnel from the federal agency that safeguards elections. Secretary Mullen says an updated election infrastructure plan will be released within 30 days. Carissa Lawson, CBS News.
Former Oklahoma Senator Mullen says he sent letters to secretaries of state in California, New Jersey, Nevada, and Pennsylvania, where DHS has identified 250,000 non-citizens on voter rolls. Meanwhile, Arkansas Secretary of State Cole Jester, releasing a statement following the president's address, says Arkansas has addressed the president's concerns decades ago and, quote, no state in the nation has more secure and efficient voting than Arkansas. Latest funding reports for the campaigns in the Arkansas Senate race reveal more than $1.2 million raised in the past 3 months alone. According to last quarter's reports, Democrat candidate Hallie Schaffner raising $122,000 more than incumbent Republican Senator Tom Cotton, $650,000 more than Libertarian candidate Jeff Wadlin. Schaffner got the most contributions in that period, raising more than $678,000 from April 1st to June 30th. Senator Cotton, though, has raised more in total. We also learned notable Arkansas families like the Waltons and Dillards made maximum donations to Cotton's campaign last quarter. A new residential treatment facility for teenage girls is one step closer to becoming a reality now in Washington County. The Quorum Court has approved a conditional use permit for Genesis Ranch. It's a program designed to help girls facing mental health, behavioral health, and substance abuse challenges. The nonprofit will be built on 86 acres off Greasy Valley Road near Prairie Grove. The new campus will house up to 16 girls at a time, providing 24-hour residential care, clinical therapy, education, life skills training, and equine-assisted therapy. Executive Director Joy Thomas says the program is designed to help girls heal from trauma and then build a strong foundation for the future.
I want them to discover that about themselves, that they are enough. I want them to be able to explore and find their identity and their purpose.
Thomas says they hope to break ground next month and open Genesis Ranch in the spring of 2027. Well, the Razorback Greenway will soon become a mile longer. Bella Vista City leaders broke ground today on an extension that would make the biking trail 41 miles long. It'll start at Sugar Creek Center and go to the Bluebird Trailhead off Riordan Road. City leaders expressed even bigger goals of extending the trail all the way to Missouri in the near future. Construction for the 1 mile extension estimated to take about 6 months to complete.